Hey gang, what's going on? And welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host. Yeah, and I do hope you're doing well, mate. As always, I truly and really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea news of sorts. I'm reacting to two articles today. Apologies in advance, they're both coming from the Daily Mail, which isn't the most prestigious and illustrious publication over here in the UK, but Kieran Gill has published these articles, and by all accounts is a well-respected, well-informed journalist. We will, of course, also look a little bit at Crystal Palace. We play them checks notes, I believe, Sunday. Oh my god, if it's today, it's definitely tomorrow. My brain can't fail me at the moment, surely not. Yes, of course, it's tomorrow, Sunday the 25th at 2 p.m. So we'll have a little bit of fun there, talking about that. We drew a blank against them early doors in the season. Of course, they've since lost Mark Gurhey, and the gaffer is basically said he's off. So, that should pass us in a strong position, but we just don't know. We've got a new manager ourselves, in Liam Rosenior, who's spoken a little bit in the media. We'll talk about that. He, of course, has won 3 out of 4 games, and will be looking to make that 4 out of 5 against Crystal Palace away. South London, mate. So, thanks for joining me. Thank you for hanging out here on YouTube. Why not drop a little like if you want to support the content? That's very kind of you. If you find yourself coming back and you're a visiting or revisiting visitor, yeah. By the way, I've just had a really early morning. I went on a long run. I'm trying to retune my brain into the day. So you must excuse some poorly put together sentences. Thank you for liking and subscribing on YouTube. Remember, you can listen to this on podcast platforms simply by searching Football Therapy Podcast, and you can watch the video on Spotify. You could also give me a follow and 5-star rating. That is greatly appreciated. Alright. Yeah, man. So there's 2 articles today. I'm not going to share screen, but I will narrate Wagwan here. So one's on Robert Sanchez, his special bond with Liam Rosenior. I still have absolutely no ruddy idea how to feel about Sanchez. I've never felt so insecure about a footballing opinion in my life that I just don't know how to feel about this guy. He is confusing my brain. I've always known where I stand with my opinions of players. Like, Edouard Mendy had a really good 18 months, and that's what we needed out of him to win the Champions League and Club World Cup, the previous iteration. But in reality, he probably wasn't, ever going to reach the Courtois, Czech levels of goalkeepers at Chelsea. Kepa, we know Kepa's flaws, and all the others in between. Do you know what I mean? So, Sanchez was just so eminently not good enough for me. And then he's had, moments where he looks good enough. And then he has, the aforementioned one game Liam Rosenior has lost as Chelsea manager. I kind of put at his door, against Arsenal in the semi-final. But then again, do you give him, and of course the game away at Old Trafford when he flies out and gets a red card. High-profile, bad games to have a stinker in. But if someone's playing really well, you let them have the odd game off. But not a semi-final against Arsenal. That's not Chelsea goalkeeper stuff. Anyway, there's an article on that we're about to hop into. A little bit on Cole Palmer, FA discipline, Rosenior stuff, and also, is he going to get called up to England, Palmer? Before we look at Crystal Palace, how they're going to line up. Of course, they've got Ismail Assar returning. They've got good players, Pino, Johnson, Mateta, who he himself wants to leave. And then we can build a lineup and have a little bit of fun at the end of the content time. Righto then, let's hop into the goalkeeping article by Kieran Gill on the Daily Mail. It's January 2017. Brighton's B-team are at Coventry in the Checkatrade Trophy. Wow, what a high-octane, scintillating and exciting start. 2,000 supporters are in the stands, and in the Ricker Arena. In goal for the visitors is a 19-year-old Robert Sanchez, and in defence is a 32-year-old Liam Rosenior. It wasn't the most memorable match of Rosenior's career, in truth. He was replaced at half-time by future England international called Ben White. Then 19, while Brighton were trailing 1-0 and ended up losing 3-0 to the competition's eventual winners. Should have kept Leon on, mate. But there's a nice story in a way, as fate had it. Sanchez would go on to leave Brighton for Chelsea for 25 million quid. Yeah. Quite a lot of peas, really, considering he was, like, bombed out by... Was it De Zerbi at that point? It must have been. They ended up losing 3-0 to the competition. Sorry, yeah, I've read that. And come to call Rosenior his gaffer 9 years later. Yeah, cyclical. So they go way back, and the Daily Mail Sport jogged Rosenior's memory of that match on Friday afternoon. The Blues boss discussed how their history goes beyond a beating in Coventry. He also coached Sanchez with when he was at the Seagulls. He said the following: I trained with Rob, and I coached Rob with the Brighton under-23s. At that point, we knew his potential was, and I said to him when I came in, like, he's got big potential, essentially. I'm so proud of you to be at this club, to see how your career's progressed. Yeah, it's nice, I guess. He's got 2 children. When I saw Rob when he was 17 years old, when he was a kid, talked about passing his driving test. I've got a great connection with him. The scary thing with Rob is I know how he can improve as well. He's already playing at a really high level. Yeah. This is the narrative, guys, isn't it? Like, oh, Chelsea could be, like, every generic pundit. Chelsea could be good. They just need to get a new goalkeeper, maybe a centre-back, and a big boy striker. And we Chelsea fans might also say, maybe midfield cover, maybe a new left-sided attacker, yada, yada, yada. So, yes, that includes having Sanchez train with Chelsea's main group now. Gone are the days when goalkeepers would purely work separately on their own with outfield players. Yeah, do you remember that back in the day? They're part of the gang now. Back in, like, even the Chelsea's, like, glory years, the golden generation, they used to laugh about the goalkeepers were this weird group that would train off by themselves, and they were always really peculiar people. Probably a good thing they try and integrate them with the gang now, Rosenior considers crucial because the 28-year-old Spaniard is central to how Chelsea build from the back. He says, it's my belief to get them involved. It's an important part for me of the game. Yeah, we've said this before. He brings them up to, like, the back line to, like, almost join the back four, or join the back three, because in possession, it's a back three. We'll look at that a bit later in the Palace preview. But it becomes a back four when the goalkeeper joins. Yeah, here we go. So Sanchez had his critics last season when Opta's statistics said no goalkeeper made more mistakes leading to goals and shots. I rest my case, Your Honor. I know that was last season, but it was harrowing. It was really sad. It was a hard time for me. I really dislike Courtois for how he behaved at Chelsea, but I still think he's the best goalkeeper in the world. Conventional wisdom suggests Chelsea should have been targeting someone new, but they resisted, listening to thousands advising them on social media. And I include myself in that. And again, I don't know if I'm still convinced. This season, not a single goal conceded in the Premier League has been attributed to Sanchez blunder. Great. Save for the Carabao Cup semi-final leg against Arsenal, where he flapped 2 balls into the box. A sense of security yeah, exactly. But then again, you can't be like, apart from that one game, because it's a semi-final against them lot. It's Arsenal. At our gaff as well. Even the red card against Old Trafford, like, we needed to beat Man United, especially that time, that iteration of Man United, to go there and lose, and only just lose, and it was because Rob Sanchez got sent off, like, immediately. You could be like two bad games this season, but it's not like, oh yeah, he was a bit poor at Man City away, or had a bit of a funny one against Forest at home, and just an obscure game. No, it was those games. That's what's really annoyed me. Chelsea have high confidence in Sanchez, though do have to make a decision on their goalkeeper in the summer. Of course, Mike Penders, step forward Mike Penders, is on a season-long loan at Chelsea's sister club Strasbourg, where he played a key role under Liam Rosenior before he switched from one blue coat club to the other. Yeah, he beat Crystal Palace in the Conference League with Penders in goal. Relevant, of course, topical, to top the Conference League table. The view from sources inside Chelsea is that Penders' potential is absolutely elite. Quote, he's 20 years old, 6'7", my giant little big boy. Excellent with his left foot, and was signed from Genk, the same Belgian club where we bought Thibaut Courtois. Synergy, my friends. Penders appeared 25 times for Genk and is hoped to finish this campaign with 40 starts for Strasbourg. At least, fitness permitting. I guess how far they go in Europe as well, right? Courtois is also 6'7" and a left footer, spent 3 seasons on loan at Atletico Madrid, which, by the way, we saw as a mistake because he settled down, had children, and then when he returned to Chelsea, granted he won 2 Premier Leagues, but his heart was left in Madrid. So, obviously, he might have just wanted to jump ship to Real Madrid anyway. Players do that. They just want to go to Real Madrid. Eden Hazard, for example. But yeah, he used the kids as an excuse at least. I mean, that sounds really awful. It might have literally just missed his family, but yeah. Yes. So, Rosenior and the club's recruiters will evaluate closer to the summer whether Penders is experienced enough to come in or if another loan's required. Yeah, surely, if he comes in to be the guy. You don't bring in Penders to be a number 2. That's damaging to what you want him to become, this superstar as quickly as he can. Sanchez is back up Philip Jorgensen had a minor injury. Of course, he'll miss the trip to Palace. He'll be out for a little bit. We've also looked at signing a new goalkeeper, such as Mike Mignon. That seems to be dead in the water at the moment. I don't know if he's extended just yet, Mignon, or if he's still a free agent in the summer. In the meantime, we'll try and get the best out of Rob Sanchez. He's up there with the best shot stoppers in the Premier League. Is he? But with his passing ability, which has been scrutinised, every now and again he pings a nice one, but it's very rare. It's no secret Chelsea favour playing out from the back. Rosenior said this: you always play to a player's strengths, whether it's a goalkeeper or your 9. You want them to be comfortable. Rob has already shown me fantastic things. His distribution against Brentford was outstanding. A couple of long passes to Pedro Neto we nearly scored from. Yeah, like I said, every now and again he sticks one. He does a good one. Look, let's wrap this up. My issue with Sanchez is, it's not like an old dog new tricks, because what is he, 27, 28? Which for a goalkeeper is not really old, but it doesn't make you think he's going to have some sort of transformative time in his career. Again, the situation remains the same for me. I will evaluate him at the end of the season. This is obviously a topical situation because it's made headlines and it's going around the media. I hope the emotional connection between Liam Rosenior and Rob Sanchez doesn't influence his objective decision-making at the end of the season. Like, oh, I know you, you're a good guy. Let's give him more of a chance. I think we need to be brutal at Chelsea, especially in key positions. Like, come the end of the season, if, we like Joao Pedro, we like Liam Delap, and I am a big fan of Liam Delap. I think he could be very good. But if we think we could win the Premier League next season with a really good striker, just go and get him. If there is one. But try and go and get him. Do you know what I mean? Right. Kieran Gill also on the Daily Mail writes the following about the FA fine Cole Palmer's World Cup stuff. Rosenior has revealed how he was never fined a footballer in his life and hopes his Chelsea stars will not give him a reason to start now. Amid accusations they lack discipline. Hey, this isn't accusations. That is fact. We absolutely lack discipline. And all the great Chelsea teams were fined. I'm a bit worried about that, to be fair. Rosenior, of course, married? Managed Strasbourg, Hull Derby, spoke highly of what he's seen since becoming Blues boss. Yeah, look, he's very... I love how he speaks, yeah. Rosenior, I do. I really like it. I'm really rooting for him. I've said this before. But the more I hear people, talk about him behaving like David Brent, or, like I said on The Ramble before, I've spoken about how he just sounds like he's constantly been interviewed by Stephen Bartlett on the Star of a CEO, the more I sort of see it and, it makes me laugh. But, it's still good, because it's still a work atmosphere, and he's speaking methodically and empathetically and all that kind of shiz. So, fine. I want to see a bit of character. I want to see a bit of natural personality and character, though. Not that he's constantly in a job interview. But I do really like him, and I am rooting for him, by the way. And I want to see him. I want to see him be this coach. So, yeah, it's talking about when we were fined multiple times for poor discipline. Managed by Enzo Maresca at the time. Chelsea were accused of a water bottle throwing, the charge. That's different. On the pitch, no Premier League club has received more red cards this season than Chelsea's 5. Wow. But Rosenior has yet to see anything worthy of issuing first penalty to Smith. But Rosenior has yet to see anything worthy of issuing his first ever fine. I haven't had to so far, he said before the trip to Palace. On his general policy, he says you can motivate players in many ways. Every manager has a different way. I try to focus on if your discipline is good and if your habits are good. Positive reinforcement, like training a dog. Maybe he's giving them treats after they do good things. There you go, 5 minutes on FIFA, lad. Yeah, I mean, I do worry about this. I hope he doesn't get, walked over. Because I don't want him to be this, nice guy who comes in and goes, yeah, dude, no worries, no fines, be yourself, we're cool, you're all amazing. It goes so far. Maybe I'm being a little bit old school, but there needs to be a little bit, don't mess about, you so-and-so, or I'll clip your eye in the ear. Sorry, it's just... Oh. So, yeah, I missed you with that one. I deliberately unpaused the recording to sneeze. Just to scare some people. So far, I can only speak for my time here so far. The players have been magnificent, and that's what... It is also new teacher vibe. Trying to impress I'm a bit Dutch there. Impress the new teacher. After a while, when everyone settles in and gets comfortable, and these young, immature Chelsea players... Will they, stop trying to impress the new teacher to get selected and start treating him like a substitute teacher? When Lampard was Chelsea manager in 1920, there was 1920 season, there was loads of internal fines leaked and included a £20,000 fine for being late to the start of training. That money went towards activities, team bonding activities, and charitable bodies. I love that. Yeah, you're gonna be on 200k a week. You snotty little player. If you could not even turn up in time, your money's going to charity. But Lampard obviously came from that sort of old school elite Chelsea thing. Some people will disagree with it. I don't. Let's talk about Cole Palmer. Rosenior believes a fully fit and firing Cole Palmer walks into Thomas Tuchel's England squad for the summer. For the World Cup. And I believe that as well. Many of you watching will believe that. But that is fully fit and firing Cole Palmer, of which he hasn't been of late. I'm trying to get him to reach his best levels, and talking about his fitness issues, the Blues boss said the following: the reality for Cole is that if he performs at his high level, he'll be in. A fully fit Cole, fully fit and firing, I wouldn't change him for any other player in world football in his position. Fact. I mean, I'm down. My job is to support him, and not just me, the staff, the medical team, the players. I mean, we have seen him smiling in training, which is a nice welcome change after that miserable goal celebration after his penalty. To make sure he cannot feel frustrated, it's good he's frustrated because he wants to do well for the club, but I don't want him to feel like he has to push himself to the point of pain when we're in January. That's crazy. I want to look after him. I've had great conversations with him so far, and I will continue to look after him. I don't say protect. It's not about protecting the player. It's about making sure they reach the level they're capable of. He is... Again, I do love it how he speaks, but Jake Humphries at the other side of the table asking him about world-class basics at this point. Do you know what I mean? Rosenior also shot down speculation that he's unhappy at Chelsea, that he's very, very happy. Yeah, it is important you make your best players feel special. This is a tale as old as time. Maresca knew it. Maresca was like, yeah, Cole's our best player. I used to joke around on here, and I did it on the London is Blue pod when I guested on them. Whenever speaking about squad players, Maresca would be like, they're all good, they're all important, everyone. But when it came to Cole, he was like, well, yeah, he's the best. He's obviously the best player. We're better with him. He's the best player. He's our best player. So he knew to do it. Rosenior's kind of doing it as well, like saying, but he's not... I like how he's operating when it comes to Cole Palmer. And I hope, I pray that it pays dividends. Because we get him firing all cylinders. Yeah, we're a different team, mate. Even if system becomes king under Rosenior and we have to become a unit, which I do think is probably very important in the modern day Premier League, and I begrudgingly and reluctantly would point to Arsenal Football Club. Top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League. Saka's not just scoring loads of goals and assists. No one is. They're just an absolute unit. And that's how you currently operate at the highest level in the Premier League landscape. So it's not about becoming Cole Palmer FC, but we want him feeling confident and doing good stuff again. So, excuse me, we play Crystal Palace tomorrow. This is their last game. Last time out, of course, they lost 2-1 away at Sunderland. Sunderland are good at home. They still had, despite Eze going and, Gurhey going, they would have been more settled now because this was like Gurhey left the day before, was leaving the day after, so he didn't have any time to prepare. So the defence would be a little bit more settled. But, Wharton, Hughes, Mitchell's still really good. I don't know if Munoz is back, but Ismaila Sarr's back from the Club World Cup. Jeremy Pino's a great player. Brennan Johnson, new record signing. I know Mateta wants out, but he's a high-profile player. With Ismaila Sarr back, they've got good players, man. And they seem to have, they've reportedly smoothed things over with Ollie Glasner, because obviously he came out with that outburst pretty much saying, like, I want to leave. I've been betrayed. I mean, he did a bit of Mourinho, didn't he? My work's been betrayed. So, not those exact words, but he came out and said, abandoned was his words. So I thought he was going to get canned on the spot, but he's going to see out the season. Apparently he's smoothed stuff out. They've got Brennan Johnson, they've got Ismaila Sarr back. They want to finish the season as well as they can. They're a wounded animal, and I think we should absolutely respect this game, this opponent and game. So let's build a lineup. So this is a shape that I've built that we will see in possession. Of course, Robert Sanchez will be in goal, especially in the absence of Philip Jorgensen. Now, this is going to be tricky to build, I think. By the way, it's not really necessarily a news story yet, but Romeo Lavia did a social media post sort of insinuating that he's back. I'll believe it when I see it. Right, so let's build some centre-backs. There's going to be a lot of rotation. Who's going to hold the width? Let's start with what's defo. In the double six in possession, Moises Caicedo is going to play. Because he always plays, he always passes fitness tests, and it's really important that he plays. I think... Damn, this is tough. Okay, I'm just gonna go rogue here. Santos. Enzo Fernandez. So the base of the box midfield, the double six, Kai Santos, my favourite. I'm gonna put Reece James in. He got 45 minutes last out. He's gonna tuck in to make the right centre back to defend against, dynamic attackers, Ismaila Sarr, Jeremy Pino, and all them, man. Brennan Johnson. And then in that case, I'm gonna play, because Fofana, he started in midweek. He played well, but he does need to be protected. I wonder, actually, and you might not like this, guys, but I think we might see Tosin and then Chalobah on the left. It could be Benoit Badiashile as a left footer on the left, but we see a lot of Chalobah on the left. Which means, I'm going to hold the width on the left of Cucurella. I feel like I'm off the rails here. And then the right width has to be a winger. I actually think if truly we are going to rest some players that are red zoning, Neto has to get a rest. Steva came off the bench, looked very good. We are going to need that. And Cole Palmer was rested entirely, so he plays inside the right pocket here. Yeah, this is tricky though, because then the 4-2-3-1 formation, the left winger is basically Fernandez, which makes no sense. Actually, I know what you do. I know what I'm going to do. As a striker, who am I going to choose? Well, Delap's played better than Joao Pedro, but we might be against a low block. And in theory, Joao Pedro should be a little bit more rested. I know he's played poorly against back threes, but in theory, in terms of profiling, he should be better against in between the lines against a deep block. So when you see this, when Sky Sports, whoever it is, shows it to you, it will be a 4-2-3-1, and I think we will see it lining up like that. We actually have seen Estevao play on the left wing, but the wingers on the starting lineup will be Estevao and Palmer, and they'll present Fernandez as a number 10. But in reality, you'll get a box midfield. Cucurella will push up, maybe not so aggressively, but it will be left half space, left pocket Fernandez, right Palmer, and Estevao here. And also, they can swap quite happily because they both play those positions. Lots of quality on the pitch, especially all those midfielders. That box midfield is different gravy granules, mate. It might be slightly different. Rosenior will show some tactical, some positional flexibility, and he'll probably do a little bit more baiting the press than we saw Enzo Maresca when we faced Crystal Palace to make more quick transitions, essentially. Yeah, man. So we have to absolutely win this game. No excuses, of course. And hope other stuff happens. That's nice. What would be nice? Arsenal losing to Man United. That would be nice. But then again, you know, we're kind of in a shootout with Man United for Champions League football. And we're in 2 other extra competitions that they're not. So they might actually be a concern now. Regardless, I say we win this. I say... I don't think we're going to get a clean sheet because we've been living a little bit of a charmed life at the back, generally. So I think maybe we win, but I'm going to give us some goals. I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea or 1-3 Chelsea. But let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'll be very grateful to have them here on YouTube. Thank you as always for liking this video, for subscribing if you're new. Go check me out on Spotify. Give us a follow and a 5-star rating. And yeah, man. Just search Football Therapy Podcast there, by the way. Cool. I feel like my brain is settled after my 5k run. I'm going to go and eat some food and enjoy some football. And I'll see you after the game.